So they brought Ming Na Wen back for a cameo, since she was the voice of Mulan, but not Eddie Murphy. Oh well, I guess he was busy. So, yeah, the live action remake of Mulan. I was able to stream it. Don't ask how. But it's been a long time since I've seen the original. But I do remember it was fairly entertaining, if a bit cartoonish at times. Well, yeah, it was a cartoon. This one, it, I would call it more of a slow burn, but with a satisfying payoff. Far less bombastic, but still very gripping. And visually, it was unbelievably stunning. I mean, you should see this film for the visuals alone, because it takes a very empty area of Asia and gives it an amazing cold beauty. But let's talk about the story. Basically, a girl who doesn't fit in ends up joining the army to protect her father from the hazards of being an elderly soldier, and ends up saving China. Yeah, that story was told fairly succinctly. When the story finally picked up, because pacing, a little bit lacking, but towards the end it was fairly succinct. The visuals and effects were really good. I've already talked about how pretty everything looked. Even the dirty stuff. And by dirty, I mean grimy. The stunts were practically done. It was basically wire fu. In the same vein as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you've never seen that movie, it's very big on wire fu and people moving in a way that seems supernatural. And I think that's what they were going for with this film. But it didn't look weird or cheap, and you definitely couldn't see any wires. So points to that. Or points for that. There was a bit of CGI when it came to certain creatures. 2 birds, in fact. But overall, they looked organic, but at the same time unnatural in a grounded in reality kind of way. I don't know if that makes sense. The cast did a pretty good job. Some would call them maybe a little bit stiff, but I think they were just trying to emulate how people were in China back then. Because Asians are sort of well known for being rather stoic and not being overly emotional. Basically, nobody overacted. It was very restrained, but you could sort of sense when characters were getting emotional. And I thought everyone did a good job. The actress playing Mulan was likable. You could feel her discomfort when trying to deal with the guys. And you weren't embarrassed for her so much as worried about her. But she proved her worth, both as a character and an actor. The villains, there were 2 this time. One was sort of honestly slightly more energetic and a little more charismatic version of the bad guy from the first film. I think he's the guy who played Mowgli in the live-action Jungle Book movie. No, not that one. The one with John Cleese. Yeah. That's a very old film, and I am a very old critic. Anyway, he was campy in his own way, not over the top, but you could tell he was just enjoying being a bad guy and being deliciously sinister. And then there was a witch who sort of presented as kind of a dark Mulan. Basically, they had some things in common, but she took a path down to the dark side. And I could sort of sense a Star Wars vibe, only instead of a son trying to redeem a father, it's a young woman starting down her path, trying to redeem someone who had gone down the wrong path. That might have been a little forced, but I didn't hate the idea. The fact that Mulan was willing to give people the benefit of the doubt and trust that redemption isn't beyond anyone's grasp. But when she came across a villain who was pure villain, she didn't hesitate to take him down. So there you go. The rest of the cast, Mulan's family, they were good. The scenes with the dad were kind of intense. The Emperor, played by Jet Li, he's no Pat Morita, but I sensed that he was less Grandpa Emperor and more, I'm going to kick your butt if you are a bad guy Emperor. I really wish he'd gotten a little more screen time than what he did get, because I'm just going to spoil it. Emperor didn't get a fight scene. He got some good lines, just no fight scene. There were 3 comic relief characters, but while one was named after the Good Luck Cricket because he was believed to be good luck, and they had their quirks, they weren't characters. They were characters. I hope that makes sense. Overall, they were enjoyable to watch, but they weren't grating on the nerves like the cartoon characters could have been after a while. Mulan's future boyfriend, he was okay. They connected, and it didn't feel forced. She tried to push him away for obvious reasons, but in the end, he was about as good as the guy in the cartoon. Let's see, what else? Let's see, heroes, villains. Actually, all the side characters did a good job at populating this world with actual people, not just moving pictures on a screen, but the world that was presented felt like it had life. And like I said, Ming-Na Wen came back for a cameo as the voice of Mulan from the first film. And it was sort of a blink and you'll miss it moment, but I'm glad she showed up. Everybody ended up showing up except for Eddie. Oh well. The music, they decided not to make this a musical so much as give it a bit of musical accent. It was all instrumental except for Christina Aguilera's big number during the cast credits, and boy can she still sing that song. They didn't do every song in the film, but what we did get was a good accent for um, the scenes that were presented. Although I really wish they'd put True to Your Heart in there somewhere because I really like that song. Overall, Mulan, the live action remake, doesn't make you wish it had never been made. It won't replace the original because that had a personality all its own, but I think this version can stand proudly alongside it. It brought honor to Disney, as Mulan brought honor to her family. So, yeah, this is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, just because there are films out there that cater to young women who might feel disempowered, doesn't mean it has to be feminist propaganda. If you do it right, it can be entertaining for everyone, but still present its message well.